the treasury people say that we have financial crisis. Everywhere there is a talk. Financial crisis is there, therefore we are not moving. And a lot of contractors are not paid. And the so-called lower level people who are working as casual laborers are not paid for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months and all that, which are the indicators of the enveloping financial crisis of Puducherry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tell me who is responsible for this financial crisis? Sir, in my opinion, the financial crisis is attributed to the central government's policies. Central government's policies of giving grants to Pondicherry. See, according to the constitutional scheme of things, Government of India should be able to give. See, there are two aspects to the finance. One is the plan outlay for Pondicherry, non-plan outlay. Now, the plan outlay consists of the grant part and the loan part. Government of India was giving 90% of the total plan outlay and 10% as a grant and 10% as a loan for a long time. Then it revised its stand and gave 70% as the grant, 30% as the loan. Then it reduced it further and said, I will give you only 30% grant, 70% I will give you as a loan. The last stage occurred in 2007 when we were asked to open a public account. When you open a public account, you will be treated like any other state. So the center said, I will not give you any loan. Loan will be zero, but the grant will be given only 30%, which means that for all the plan outlay of the Union Territory of Pondicherry, you have to borrow. You have to borrow in the open market under the guidance and supervision of the Reserve Bank of India. So this has been putting a pressure on the finances of the Union Territory of Puducherry. The grant part has been slashed from 90% to 30%. And even that 30% will be in proportion to your effort of resource mobilization. If Puducherry government can raise more, you will be given 30%. If it is less, you will be given 25% or 26%. So with that limited outlay, and without resources on your side to finance a plan outlay, either the plan outlay has to be curtailed or you have to borrow. That means the borrowing ability of the government of Puducherry was increasing from 2007. This was the status as far as the plan outlay is concerned. Now coming to non-plan outlay, Government of India was following a golden rule. That rule was, every year I will give you 513 crores as a non-plan gap grant. Non-plan gap grant. And every year I will make a 3% increase. Even if the inflation increases by 8%, 9%, the increase in non-plan grant will be only 3%. And that was increasing like that, and we are now getting only 600 crores. Whatever is the gap in the non-plan side, that non-plan gap grant has not been substantially increased by the Government of India. And therefore, the ability of the Government of Puducherry to finance both the plan and non-plan expenditure was shrinking, as a result of which it is not only for the plan outlay, even for the non-plan outlay, government had to borrow. Therefore, the budgets of Government of Puducherry, which were showing surplus balance on the revenue side as well as on the fiscal side, has been showing negative balance over a period of time, and the debt of the Union Territory has been accumulating. This is the second factor. The third factor is, like other states of India, Puducherry is not covered under the Finance Commission grants. Finance Commission grants. As you know, Government of India constitutes a Finance Commission for every 5 years under Article, Doctor, you can stop me whenever you want. I will speed up. 10 more minutes? Yeah, I will take, right. because these are points which our students and friends should know. So Finance Commission is appointed for every 5 years, whose function is to take the total tax revenue of the Government of India, give about 40% of the revenue to the states. Now, in that allocation, Puducherry is not receiving even a single pie because it is a union territory. It is not receiving any grant under Article 275, which is given to Tamil Nadu, which is given to Karnataka, which is given to other states, but not to Puducherry. The CST revenue, which is generated in Puducherry, is not given to the consolidated fund of Puducherry, but it is taken away by the central government. But in the case of Tamil Nadu, sales tax revenue, central sales tax revenue is given to the consolidated fund of Tamil Nadu. So all these facts led to growing burden of debt. And as the Chief Minister announced in the budget, today's total indebtedness of Puducherry is 6,651 crore. 51 crore, which is equivalent to 26% of the gross state domestic product of Puducherry, 1% less than the maximum limit of borrowing by the government by any government in the country. And every year we are paying 700 crores as interest commitment and the principal repayment. Now, this is the status of finance. Given this finance only, the problems explained by Mr. Narayanasamy will have to be judged. Whether you can go on giving freebies, go on giving assistance to people, right? Create laziness among the people, right? Create a force which will be dependent on the government, which will be dependent on their people who are working in the family, and you make everybody workless in this situation. That is the first challenge. The second challenge is remaining as union territory. Remaining as a union territory is a big impediment for the faster growth of Puducherry. There may be people who may differ with that, but I have experienced what those impediments are. And these impediments are not congenial for the growth of Puducherry. See, there is an elected cabinet which has no power in the financial matters. Even the framing of the budget has to be approved by somebody. The plans have to be approved by somebody. And the people give centrally sponsored schemes, which may be applicable to Puducherry or may not be applicable to Puducherry. But on that central schemes also you have to spend. Therefore, the union territory status is really an obstacle to the faster progress of Puducherry. The third important issue is an issue of governance. Governance in Puducherry. What kind of governance is required for rapid growth of the present state of economy? You should have a transparent, responsive, and autonomous and accountable administration. That is a sine qua non for the faster development of Puducherry. But what kind of administration that we have? He said about 30,000 government employees. Are they friendly enough to create a situation required for this? Most of the state governments have computerized all their business operations, but here we are not able to do. And we get bureaucrats as IAS officers who come here and who have no total commitment for the growth of the economy. Can you tell me, gentlemen, a chief secretary who came to Puducherry, who had any commitment for the Puducherry economy? Did they ever visit any site of economic activity ever? They come here under AGMU cadre, remain here for 3 years, enjoy a luxurious life, and go back without seeing Puducherry economy. And how do they plan? They don't plan anything. Planning in Puducherry is just an academic exercise. There are 53 departments. Collect the outlay from all the 53 departments. Add them. That is your plan outlay. This is the plan outlay of the bureaucrats, but that is not plan outlay at all. Planning must be based on intersectoral linkages. The requirements of different sectors must be connected through an input-output analysis, and the outlay that comes out of that analysis only should form the plan outlay. At the national level, people are doing. Why not in Puducherry? Because the bureaucracy is not inclined for that. And a lot of unproductive expenditure is made by the people here. And because of the bad governance, see, we have a government here which does not respond to any of the letters of the people. Letters of people. That's why today, 40 people every day go to the Lieutenant Governor. They go to Lieutenant Governor and say, sir, madam, this is not done. Within 24 hours, she gives a reply to these people. Why this government should not give? This is the state of affairs, right? And the single window clearance system we have been talking about, industries, has also not really happened. And a related aspect of this is the local governance, about which I should pay rich tributes to Mr. Mani Shankar Iyer. As the first Panchayat Raj minister, he was able to bring a lot of changes in the Panchayat Raj. His own ardent leader, Rajiv Gandhi, brought 73rd Amendment and 74th Amendment, giving 29 functions to the rural Panchayat Raj and 18 functions. It was a remarkable example of decentralization of functions, decentralization of funds, decentralization of functionaries. And the French people who ruled us understood the significance of this local governance. And they were known for the mayoral system, the commune panchayat system, which India did not think about it. When they were here, there was no assembly. But the mairie and the commune panchayat, they ran the government very efficiently. And the people got all the benefits which they deserved. But these local institutions were deliberately kept under animated state of suspension. 1968 was the last year when the elections were held to these bodies. After 38 years, in 2006, when Mr. Mani Shankar Iyer became the Minister of Panchayat Raj, I took up this issue on the floor of the Parliament. And thanks to the support offered by, because I was the lone voice from the Union Territory. That was the only Union Territory along with Manipur, which did not have elections at that point of time. The left front people came to my rescue and argued with you and asked why in Pondicherry you are not able to conduct elections to local bodies. He immediately agreed, called the Chief Minister at that point of time and said, you conduct elections. Elections were conducted, no doubt, in 2006. But the Act of 1973 Act and 74 Act was not implemented, and the Conformity Act was also not implemented. Then I brought Mr. Mani Shankar to Puducherry. Sir, you remember? You came to Karaikal first, then you came to Puducherry. You were searching for the Chief Minister for the whole day. And through your contacts in Delhi only, you could contact your Chief Minister here, who came at 4 o'clock, and to sign the Memorandum of Understanding in a big hall. The Chief Minister was sleeping. He was signing. He was asked to wake up, and then he also signed at last. But nothing happened even after that. He wanted to create a Panchayat window in the budget itself, a wonderful concept. It was not done. For from 2006 to 2011, the local bodies were only decorative pieces in Puducherry. After 2011, what happened? We are in 2006, sir. No elections after that. No elections after that. Perhaps they want you to become the Panchayat Raj Minister again to revive the elections here. It was not conducted. It's a big information to him, right? So, 2016, no function, nothing has been given. And you know, sir, what is the lame excuse they give? They want to have delimitation of constituencies. And that took 5 years, nothing has come. Now, if local bodies are not in place, the rural economy cannot prosper. All said and done, these rural bodies are excellent institutions for the delivery of services, conducting of economic activities, and looking after the people. I could see by my own eyes how the village panchayat leaders were working with their own money to provide facilities to people and save the people from various difficulties. And I would wish that the new government, I think even the new government will give a decent burial. That is my understanding. Because there is no mention about it in the budget speech. Right? It is not there. So that is the fourth issue. The fifth issue is the infrastructure development in Puducherry is not adequate enough for the postulated growth that we are thinking about. In terms of road, rail, port, airport, industrial estate, etc., we have to do a lot, and this acts as one of the limitations for getting international investment into India, into Pondicherry. Industrial stagnation is there, and no new industries are coming up. The existing industries are likely to leave for various reasons, and this is posing another challenge in terms of, that's what I told you, is a big topic. I cannot do injustice to the topic by just giving. I am skipping many things which I have brought. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Yes, yes. Okay. Therefore, the infrastructure is also a kind of a bottleneck. High incidence of unemployment. High incidence of unemployment. You know how many people are there in the list of unemployed people? 3.28 lakh. 3.28 lakh people